Hello and welcome to Healthy Body at Home. Today, I will be sharing my best practical tips that anyone can use to stop being defensive. That's important if we want to remain open to listening and new ideas, which allows us to improve our life. Understand what triggers you. The best way to learn how to stop being defensive is to understand what triggers you. It can also give you valuable new insights into your personality, and more importantly, what your weaknesses are that can set you off. Nobody's perfect, but we should always strive for improvement. Defensiveness isn't desirable, and it's a clear sign that we're self conscious about something. When we're feeling certain about ourselves and our actions, then there's very little reason to get worked up most of the time. Anticipate your triggers. Anticipating your triggers or when you're entering situations that might set you off can help control your temper and emotions. It won't automatically make you feel less provoked, but it can aid in reducing the intensity of your response because you remain thoughtful and rational instead of becoming irrational and unable to reason objectively. Don't automatically assume the worst. Not everyone's out to get you. Thus, we shouldn't always assume the worst. I'm not saying that you should be naive or that certain people aren't actively trying to take advantage of you, because there are malevolent individuals like that inhabiting the world. But luckily for us, most are quite indifferent and sometimes even empathic toward those they don't know. As a result, we should try to engage with our peers in good faith by viewing it as an opportunity to build new relationships along the way. Don't take it personally. Getting protective can be the consequence of taking things too personally. Just because someone voices their concerns, criticism, and perhaps even discontent doesn't mean we have to start justifying ourselves. Remaining calm, stoic, and even entirely silent can regularly be the best practice. That's hard to do at times, especially when the very things they're saying concern us personally, or when they're using their words in an attempt to rile us up or even hurt us. If that's the case, then we have the right to protect ourselves. But don't try to explain yourself, since they're probably trying to get a reaction out of you, and giving them what they want is likely going to be used as ammunition to further antagonize you. Practice a continuous growth mindset. Apply a continuous growth mindset to keep evolving and prevent yourself from becoming overly shielded. It's much less likely that you want to safeguard yourself if you're viewing everything that happens to you as a chance to improve rather than an attempt to chastise you. You'll learn a lot more, and there's no telling what kind of improvements can be made to your character and life when truly applying yourself. It's about creating rather than finding ourselves, and for that we need to keep developing. Be compassionate. Remaining empathic can be a difficult thing to do in a world that's primarily driven by productivity, materialistic wealth, and fame, regardless of what we need to do to accomplish these things. Yet, compassion is essential if we want to keep ourselves from becoming cold and aloof to our own and others' feelings. And that's one of the key features that sets us apart from the machines that simply operate without the capacity to feel any emotions. Practice active listening. Active listening is a precious, undervalued skill that everyone should have in their toolkit to deal with people effectively. You would be surprised how even just feeling understood can change the dynamics between two parties. It makes them so much less likely to criticize and scold you because they feel like you're trying to learn and listen while trying to help them. Set boundaries. Even though people are more alike than they are different, we still have wildly varying personalities depending on our values, ethics, experiences, and upbringing. That's precisely why we have to set boundaries based on what we're comfortable with and what's an absolute no-go. Sure, these barriers should be reasonable, but without the ability to say no and the capacity to be assertive, others simply can't respect us. That's because we're willing to let others walk all over us without retaliating. These limits will keep you from being overwhelmed and doing things you don't enjoy and want to do. Without these boundaries, we would end up becoming dissatisfied, vengeful, and bitter. That's what we need if we wish to be and remain content. And when we're happy, we're less prone to get protective. Ask how you can aid. Instead of desperately trying to justify yourself, ask how you can help others. It's much more favorable and productive to solve problems rather than create more difficulties in our existence. Not to mention that others will be appreciative because you're lending a helping hand instead of making it all about you and how you're feeling. We love to feel heard and valuable, and to be assisted when we're in a pinch. So don't be afraid to aid those in need. Just realize that you can't help everyone out there. Take responsibility. Taking responsibility is the sign of a mature adult who's unafraid to take accountability for their actions. Regardless, it's not something that everyone can or wishes to do. Nevertheless, it's essential to become better since we can't improve something if we refrain from taking the blame or accepting that we have some skills we need to learn before we can become adept at that given thing. There's always something we can sharpen, and so I urge everyone to take accountability for their successes, but more importantly, their failures and errors to thrive in the future. Seek out clarifications. Instead of guarding yourself from a perceived attack, try to seek out clarifications to figure out where they're coming from and to find common ground to work with rather than fueling animosity. People love being paid attention to, and nothing shows that you're alert than practicing active listening and asking for clarifications to paint a clear picture of the situation. Fix the concern. Fix the problem they're dealing with instead of enlarging the existing issue. They will be glad their difficulty is dealt with, and you will receive far less hassle since their desires and needs are being met. That's precisely why you should always think of solutions instead of problems. It's simply much more productive and constructive to have such a positive attitude. Remind yourself of your values. Reminding yourself of your values grounds you in reality rather than allowing yourself to get riled up over trivial matters. Try to be the person you would personally look up to. If you treat others how you want to be treated yourself, then you have the peace of mind that you carried out all of your actions with the best intentions. That remains true even if things don't end up panning out the way you wanted to. See criticism as a chance to grow. There are two main ways to take criticism. One way is taking it as a personal attack that you need to defend yourself against, and the other manner is to take it in stride and see it as the perfect opportunity to grow. Just because someone offers constructive criticism doesn't mean that they dislike us or want to hurt us. They might be critical exactly because they love us and want the best for us. Hence, we should cherish and hold on to those who truly want to see us happy and flourishing. Don't start criticizing back out of pettiness. Refrain from making painful comments in return, even when someone unwarrantedly faults you. That would simply show how immature we are and how we couldn't handle a different perspective. It reeks of insecurity and exhibits a fragile mental state. You can calmly state that they're overstepping their boundaries when you feel like they're crossing the line, but you shouldn't exhibit the same behavior that you dislike others doing to you. You need to be the bigger man. And sometimes that involves keeping yourself from acting impulsively and harshly. Remain calm. You should never let yourself be guided by solely your emotions, especially not when you're not emotionally mature enough to recognize that you're highly irrational and prone to responding illogically at times. Listen to reason and employ your rational thinking. The only way you can manage that feat is if you remain calm instead of getting emotional and heated. Plenty of highly intelligent people have ended up making critical mistakes and failures just because they couldn't keep a clear head. Don't interrupt others. Interrupting others isn't respectful or appropriate, nor do people typically take it in stride. Some do so unconsciously, and others might have a nasty habit of chiming in when their peers are talking due to being conditioned that way or because they don't like sharing the spotlight. Still, you shouldn't do that because it's annoying, and others will be on guard around you if you're constantly interrupting your peers. Be confident enough to give others room to speak their mind without feeling the need to take the limelight at all times. Accept other people's perspectives. Accepting people's perspectives is key if you wish to build healthy, long-lasting relationships with others. It also helps not to take things personally or the wrong way. Everyone has their unique perks and imperfections. Thus, it's only logical that everyone has a distinctive identity and personality. You don't have to agree with other people's personal views, but what you have to do is accept that what they believe to be true is their reality. Life will go much smoother that way, and you'll feel less need to defend yourself. Know your limits. Knowing your limits is always important because nobody likes arrogant folks who overestimate themselves. It also makes you more prone to making mistakes and failure since you assess yourself poorly. Others might point out your blunders, or that you simply don't live up to the big game you talk yourself up to. Since prideful individuals measure their abilities wrongly, they're unlikely to take kindly to the evaluation of others. They're extremely liable to become protective and justify their actions, no matter how wrong they might be. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and wish to see more similar content in the future. It would go a long way to help a small channel out. Take care, and until next time.